Oh dear gosh, make it stop. Well, that's what I get for using cardboard and aluminum foil, eh?
Die, Cloud!
Hey guys, Cloud Killer Koopa Troopa here. As some of you may know, most of you don't, I am working on designing a musical instrument, and I have just reached a critical milestone in doing that. And I think this is actually my first project update when I tell you about the stuff I'm working on. Did you like that camera switch right there? Because through the magic of editing, it can be there, it can be there, it can be there, it can be there, it can be right here! Anyway, it's going to be a keyboard-based instrument, and that milestone is I finally have a fully functional 2.5 octave capacitive touch MIDI keyboard. If you have no idea what any of that means, don't worry, I'll explain briefly. Basically, capacitive touch means like the same type of sensor that's in your smartphone. It's touchscreen. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's basically a communication protocol for electronic instruments. So when you attach a MIDI cable to like a MIDI keyboard like this one, it'll send a message in the MIDI style to a synthesizer or something that says, play this note. 2.5 octaves is the range of my keyboard. That means that in this particular case it goes from F to C, 2 octaves above that. So I have spent the past few weeks working on this, and I've finally got something that's decent. By the way, none of this equipment is mine. This is all my dad's stuff. He is also really into this kind of thing, and he lets me use his equipment, so I have been using that for testing. But let me show you how this works. So these are all the components that I need to get this thing to work. We've got the main keyboard itself, that's like the user interface. The iPad that's going to be providing us with synthesizers and sounds and everything. We've got a speaker to play those sounds on. This whole setup that my dad uses to relay MIDI commands from any device to iOS devices. We've got this cable that I fashioned to function as an adapter from the Arduino to the MIDI setup. And then this is the brains of it all, the Arduino setup. And in here we've got a 9 volt, a switch that controls the main power, the little Arduino board itself, and then 3 12 electrode capacitive touch modules, which means we've got 36 inputs to work with. The keyboard is only 32 keys, but I used 3 for octave buttons here, and I have more for when I get a 4th one of these boards. I actually have one, but it's defective, so I'm waiting on another one to arrive. And that also leaves room for a glissando button, which I can use with just the Arduino. That's what this little blue thing is for. It's a volume knob for this tiny little speaker here, so that you don't actually need this MIDI stuff, and you can just generate a really video game sounding tone through that. It's a square wave for those of you that know what that means. But yeah, I can get glissando working with that, meaning I can like slide between notes and stuff, but I can't seem to get it working with MIDI. I can do basic pitch bend things, but that only gets me 2 semitones, which isn't very much when you're talking about like full octave slides and stuff. You don't want it to re-attack the note every time. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing wired up here. Oh gosh, let's see if I can remember the order here. This, and this. These two got swapped, so there we go. Alright, if all goes well, that should work. Now let's set up the MIDI portion. Gonna power this up, plug in that, and this, the speaker, and now let's get the iPad set up. Look, it's me, and you guys. Hello? You thought I was gonna show you my passcode. Right then, so we're going to use an app called ThumbJam that I have found has a few good synthesizers on it. We're going to start with a basic grand piano. Right then, so that's playing through the iPad speaker, but we plug it in here. So that's plugged in, and now it should... Yes! That is playing through this speaker now. So now I can control the volume. Okay, now let's bring this over. So this is going to plug in right there. And now I can connect this MIDI cable to the input on this thing. And now power up the Arduino and pray that we've done everything right. Moment of truth. Nothing. We get nothing. What have I done wrong? Oh, bloody hell, I plugged in the cable backwards. Okay, moment of truth, take two. Excellence. So, as I mentioned before, these things over here are octave buttons. So right now, I'm in the middle octave, but if I wanted to go lower, I can then do this, and now that is that note. And if I wanted to go higher, so you can do stuff like that. Now, I am going to demonstrate with a synthesizer that is a tad more dramatic. It's called J.R. Zendrix, and it is, I think, one of my favorite synthesizers of all time. And it sounds like this. Now, one of the benefits of having these octave things is when I change the octave, if I'm still playing a note when I change the octave, when I release the note, there's a... it's currently a bug in the program, but I'm calling it a feature for now, where when I release the note, it won't release in the MIDI. So that can be a problem. But if I know that it does that and know how to use it, I can do stuff like this. So I've got that drone now, and then I can play over it. And that is how you demo a 2.5 octave capacitive touch MIDI keyboard. So yeah, that is the next step in creating this instrument. It's still very finicky and needs a lot of things added to it to be really something of substance, but it is definitely proof of concept, and I am very excited to see where this goes. I will keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching. Cloud Killer Koopa Troopa out. MIDI stands for Musical Instruments Bloody hell.